How long is a moment?
Hello and welcome to the TechRaptor podcast. Otton getting ahead of himself
We're getting very philosophical.
there. My name is Andrew Stretch. I am your host editor for today, and joining me today as well is
And Rotten editor in chief.
Religion Dogette, site founder.
Excellent.
When you say you're the host editor, does that mean that you determined Scrappy wasn't very good and you edited him out?
Well, what people don't know is that what they're going to be like checking out now on YouTube and on podcast apps was a full podcast that Scrappy was a part of. And I have just carefully edited over him, recreated everything that he has said. That's why when we did the original recording of this podcast, I was quiet most of the time.
Seamless.
It's going to be good. It's, just demonstrating
You won't be able to tell.
Editing prowess.
We're using an AI to do it.
I was waiting for that to come into the conversation.
We'll have special guest Hatsune Miku and Tucker Carlson on later.
He could give us his thoughts on Vaporeon.
Oh man, as far as
if you don't know what we're talking about, Google Tucker Carlson Vaporeon.
It's one of the greatest
deep fakes of all time, honestly.
Oh, it's good deep fakes, but it's also like one of the just greatest internet posts of all time, the original Vaporeon thing.
Yeah.
So,
that's a chaotic one.
Yes.
So as we go into
Rule 34, you think there's
news,
a Vaporeon?
Anyway, too much. Is that how we're going to rate Pokemon when we do a bracket of which is the best Pokemon?
What's the most popular one? That's too many to look at. Are you kidding me? You know how long I'd have to spend on a site? That at least double my numbers for a week, my average.
Jesus Christ. Starting very much on the rails. But this is what you get when Scrappy's leading the show that I have edited out, and it's definitely Scrappy not leading the show correctly.
Yes.
It's not me. So there's been plenty of big news this week, lots of mini conferences. And then we've had a couple of announcements of conferences. We got Starfield's release date, among some other things. But really what took the biggest news of this week was, again, in the business side, we heard from Epic this week, a whole bunch of stats for the Epic Game Store, including some of their sales that they've talked about how that there have been 700 million free games claimed last year. That's not individual free games, but that's all of the users across their 99 free games that they said was a total value of $2,240 worth of games
per person.
Yeah,
pretty good. They weren't
crazy.
There were some pretty high budget games in there too. It wasn't all just not to say that it's bad or anything. That was indie games or whatever, because it's not. There's a bunch of really great games, but it's like they got some pretty big names in it too, which is pretty cool for people. That's just absolutely free.
I always think about how, I was playing every single weird freeware game I could play as a kid because, I wasn't able to get another PS2 game or something. I remember playing, someone had modded Sonic the Hedgehog into Doom Wads. And I played that. And just to be in a single year with a decent enough computer, here's $2,000 worth of free games.
Yeah. God, this reminded me back in the day playing Candy Stand, all the Flash games.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Flash games were so popular, because they were free.
You know what the best part of Congregate was, Otton? The achievements. Flash games with achievements.
Yeah. So he's bringing that up because we were talking about achievements before we started recording, and I wanted to find out if there's a way for me just to delete all achievements I've ever got. And I'm currently looking into that, and I can't wait to do it because it's a lot. I'm not bragging that I go out of the way to get achievements. It's just I have an old Steam account and I played a lot of games on it, so there's going to be a lot there.
So 68 million active users, 34.3 million daily active users at its peak. I wonder if that ties in with Saints Row. um, and then, kind of from that, some of the biggest news is that the self-publishing feature that had been in closed beta since 2021 is now public. So this will allow anyone to self-publish on Epic Games Store. They released the roadmap. It includes paying a submission fee per game, completing tax and payout information, building out all of the assets in the coming soon, getting the game tested, submitting it for review, and then publishing, specifically noting that of sales for your game, you will keep 88% of the revenue, which is a lot higher than the standard 70%.
Yeah,
Um,
a
It's
lot
pretty
more.
massive for
mhm.
developers. Not to mention the Epic grants that they offer, um, and really everything that Steam does, they do at this point from a promotion standpoint, sales, like the vouchers they give for buying games during sales. Like Epic is becoming a platform that is very, very developer friendly.
Mhm.
Yep.
With that, they also list a certain set of requirements for each game, which is PC crossplay for multiplayer games, which is awesome. They're saying that you can either do the crossplay yourself, use a third-party SDK, or they offer the Epic online services for free, which is cool. They're just like, here's our infrastructure, use it. Epic Game Store achievements, that all games must have age ratings, that there's certain prohibited content that cannot be released, and that the game must have quality. So it must download, install, launch, and function consistently. With Epic reserving the rights to reject games that we do not feel are sufficient in quality and functionality. So that's one of the more interesting bullet points for me, because on stuff like Steam, on the PlayStation Store, what we see a lot of is bloat. Those to call them like indie games wouldn't be
Heck,
incorrect,
it's
but they're
it's
like
rampant on the
Asset flips.
the Switch store too.
yeah, asset flips, games that are like Pet Dog for 100 achievements, stuff like that. So I wonder how heavy the hand will be to keep that shit off the store.
Yeah, they definitely. I think they're trying to have a higher standard in terms of what to expect. I think that one of the biggest criticisms of Steam at this point is their, I guess, lack of curation for the most part. I mean, the reason that the PlayStation and Xbox stores are as generally solid as they are is that you have to go through that verification process. Um, and you have to get greenlit before you can even go on that store, which is why you see delays from some developers because they didn't get certified on PS4 or Xbox or whatever. Um, so having that come to PC is kind of nice because sometimes it is uh, painful to wade through Steam, especially the popular upcoming, which a lot of 18 plus titles.
Just put your
We'll
filter on.
leave it at that. Just put,
Put the
yeah.
'cause there's a lot.
But then I can't laugh at like BDSM Hitler. So
Yeah, laugh. That's why he wants to. I just want to laugh at him. Sure. I don't know. I mean, I think that's one of those things that like lasts maybe to a point because they all, like if you look at almost any verification process to get on a platform somewhere, they all say the same thing.
yeah,
They I don't know. We'll see. I think we'll get some.
is how much less of a cut they're taking. I see that
I
like
don't
in
know.
these extra bullet points at the very bottom, is that there's also the option to use your own or third-party payment solution to receive 100% of the revenue from IAPs.
Yeah.
which is
That's
anti
also
Apple.
yeah, yeah. Like, get away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting. uh, numbers reflect the level of people that are coming to the platform and actually buying games, not just claiming
Yeah.
free stuff.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how, like, when they said that 34 million active daily users. How many of that? How much is that? Does that include like Fortnite? Like,
Yeah, I'm
Good
sure it
using it as a
question.
does.
launcher, because it becomes a lot less impressive if that's the case. You know
That's
what I
a fair
mean?
point. Yeah. Yeah, because if 80% of that is Fortnite,
Which is not nothing. I mean, I
it's
understand
not nothing.
the
Yeah,
thing,
but
but
it does skew the numbers. I would be curious if they would ever release anything that's
I
like
don't know.
this much is Fortnite, this much is other stuff.
'Cause the only reason
Um,
I was thinking that is because like that's higher than the peak of Steam all time.
yeah. I don't think that's peak though. I think that's just daily active users, not daily concurrent. Whereas
I guess so.
Steam's
The daily
concurrent
active is
peak
going to
is
be way higher. That's true.
32.8 million, I think.
That's true. The
Um,
current, yeah, this is
so
true. There's a big difference between concurrent and just people playing a day.
yeah. And it'd be curious to see how many of those are playing and who just has the launcher active,
Mm.
because
Yeah,
that definitely ties in as well.
yeah. It's I don't know. I mean, it's been talked about to death, but the more successful they are, the better competition there is, which is better overall.
And I mean,
So,
giving away so many of these games for free. I mean, it would be impossible for any launcher to fully tear the PC gaming community away from Steam, because you've already been using Steam for 20 years. Um,
mhm.
you've already got investment, sunk cost fallacy, and now it's like, Epic Games can be like, hey guys, like, yeah, it's 99 free games, but you've now got $2,000, of equity invested in this storefront. So like, hey, when the next game comes out that there's going to be a 6-month wait to get it on Steam, well, you might as well pick it up here. Like, you've got a
Yeah,
healthy library here with us.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it is that doing that, like tearing some gamer away from Steam, that takes time. And
Hmm.
I think they've clearly invested. It's been what, like 3 years at this point, 3, 4 years since they kind of launched. And granted, Fortnite brings in enough money that they can afford it. But it's not a terrible business strategy to kind of get people to gradually invest in your platform, and build up a library that might rival their Steam library,
yeah.
depending on
Well, I
how many
think,
humble bundles they've purchased.
and you got to also remember they own Unreal Engine. That's the real
Hmm.
That
moneymaker.
too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was going to say, if Fortnite isn't the reason that they're
Yeah,
totally able to subsidize all of this, it's got to be because of Unreal Engine licensing fee.
they make a ton of money off that.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that is
That's
not a
big
small
money.
amount of change.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I mean, hopefully they continue, because even like their sales stuff is cool. Like they'll have sales and then the $10 coupon on top of shit, so you can
Hmm.
get games for like really good prices there.
It's
Mhm.
like if you buy a game that's $25 or more, you get
Yeah.
$10 off or whatever. So it's
And I know
15.
like the big hurdle for a lot of people still is that like the Epic Games Launcher doesn't have a lot of the features Steam has, because a lot of people use it like as a social media in a way, like or the
Mhm.
friends list and forums and their groups that they hang out with or whatever and chat with. And obviously, Epic doesn't have anything to replace that with. But I mean, if you're simply just looking at it as I'm buying it to play a game here, like there's nothing wrong with using it at all. That's how I've used it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, no, the PC, like the gaming environment for like what gets used as social media is so wild to me, between
Yeah.
like the the regular use of social media, to Discord communities, to those that you've got like clans or groups. What do they call them on Steam?
They're just groups. Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
just groups, yeah.
You can just have like a group, and that's just like,
Yeah,
you know,
just
if
hanging
everyone's
out.
gonna only be on Steam, then yeah, like let's funnel it to the lowest common denominator and just only be on Steam, and that's where we're logged in.
Yeah.
I just can't ever imagine, like, in the same way that I used to like load up my computer and open up Teams or Slack or MSN to just be like, yep, I'm gonna like open, and I will leave open a Steam chat window for for 12 hours.
You don't want to go back to AIM?
Never
used
never used the name.
I didn't
That was
use AIM
Oh
either.
wow.
yeah.
I used Pigeon, man. I was on Pigeon. And then MSN Messenger. I mean, everybody used that at some point.
I mean, what is
That's like we were talking about early WoW stuff the other day. That was the big thing with WoW. Like guilds on there, like for a big chunk of my time on WoW was mostly bullshitting with people.
Yeah.
Like
That was the
just
only thing that kept me going in WoW
sitting
was
around bullshitting.
the
Yeah.
guild community. Yeah.
Either
Like I
on
think when my guild fell apart towards the end of Cataclysm, that was when I quit. That was really the only thing that I was holding on to at the end was like the group of people that I
Yeah.
had played with every day for years.
Yeah, if there was my core people that I play with, if they were still around playing and I converse with
I'd
them
still be there.
regularly, I'd still be playing it, even though it fucking sucks. But
That's for you, Austin. Retail is trash.
that says something about the ability, the desire to play a crap game with friends versus moving on to something different.
Yeah, that's what's so hard about like I know we're getting way off of what our
No,
story thing was, but that's what's so hard about like evaluating. So when you go to a lot of shows, like what doesn't make its way out a lot, that games that usually don't see a lot of success, unfortunately, like the couch co-op games and stuff like that, like party like games. Because when you go to something like a PAX or an E3 or what have you, like there's always a ton of those, and there's a ton of cool ones too. Like I'm not shitting on them at all. They just don't see the success as usual in comparison to a lot of other genres. And I always feel bad about it, but it's part of it is like it's hard with that evaluation where you do have people that you enjoy playing a game with, whatever, that's just or a fun personality or someone that you're with. Like those will always make games better, even if it's a shit game. Like it will elevate it to levels it didn't need to be. You'll be like, oh, that game was good because I have these good memories of playing this with so and so. It's like, well, yeah, but the game's not that great.
That's exactly my experience with Resident Evil 6.
That's right. We talked about this the other week.
Yeah, I played that through local co-op with a mate in college. And that's one of the most fun experiences. And all I've heard is people shitting on the game since. It's like, oh, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that bad because you guys were laughing through it the entire time, I'm sure.
Yeah, that as well. Alcohol also sometimes helps
bad
games become better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder that sometimes
remember
when you hear about like co-op games.
I remember playing America's Army with friends and laughing through that.
There you go.
Yeah. And I'm sure many of the people listening to this are not even old enough to know what that is. So look it up. It's interesting.
Yeah, so I always wonder about that. Like when you hear someone talk about, oh, it's this co-op game you're playing with someone, it's like, yeah, like I don't know. It's really hard to trust what someone's enjoyment on it.
Yeah.
Because it's so skewed by that.
That's something that I've really found as I've moved more and more into the tabletop world. Like there are certain people, like I have an old roommate, guy's fucking great, love the guy. I am never going to play a competitive tabletop game with him ever again, just because of in the same way that you can have like a co-op experience in a game, or like a co-op or even an antagonistic fun experience in a tabletop game. Yeah, if the person you're playing with just like isn't of that mindset, boy, it can make a really good game the worst thing ever, or take a potentially crap game and turn it into an absolute laugh. Yep. So many awkward silences around that dinner table at the end of board games.
Yeah.
You guys were playing Monopoly, weren't you?
No, he's a real board gamer.
We're playing Betrayal at the House on the Hill.
Okay,
which
that'll
is
do
that's a good one.
yeah. I mean,
Wait, he was getting serious about that?
yeah.
What? What
Nice,
a
dude.
what a silly
do
game
it.
to get serious about.
Yeah, it's like I went
That's
into it.
funny.
I even I said going into this, like, look, absolutely nothing against you, dude. You kind of take things a bit competitive. Are we sure this is the game that we want to be playing? It's like everyone's like, yeah, sure. And I'm like, okay, but when it all ends in awkward silences and weird looks, I'm just gonna be laughing. I want you guys to know that. Played through the game. He ended up as the traitor.
Perfect.
Nice.
And then he lost.
Mm.
And then it was just a whole bunch of salty comments and questioning of rules, and then the game ended, and we're like, well, we won, and there was just dead silence. I'm busting a gut.
What's great about that is he has only himself to fucking blame because he doesn't have he can't say, "Oh, you fucked that up" as a party or whatever as the group.
Yep.
Nope, that was just you, buddy.
That's
Wild.
gotta love it.
So transitioning back to news,
Anywho,
one of the other big pieces of news was the fantastic comment from Square Enix about their upcoming plans. In a Q&A session, Matsuda-san explicitly stated that they are looking forward to the kind of content that they're planning on making going forward, that they felt like last fiscal year just wasn't that good for them. But they're looking forward to getting out all of their blockchain games, which is not something you want to hear from Square Enix.
no, and wasn't that was in response to the people are assuming this is going to be a good year because 16 and 7 Part 2 are coming.
Yeah,
and then
But both are going to put your gill on the blockchain. So
Yeah. So the investor was like, "So how are you gonna improve the following year? Because you can't. Yeah, if you're not going up, you might as well just shutter the company. If you're not going up every year, because that's sustainable.
yeah.
But that's what that response was too. He's like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll be saved by the blockchain. Like that will be 2024. Like we're already over blockchain. Like
Mhm.
now, like well over it. And then he's talking about next year." That's so wild.
That's what they've been saying. He should have been far more aggressive with it. We could have blockchain gold chocobo sitting in our crypto wallets right now.
Well, supposedly there's going to be blockchain stuff in 16, right? We don't know how
Is
extensive.
there?
I swear to God, I saw that.
Oh, I wasn't sure if they were saying that they were putting stuff in Final Fantasy yet. I know that they started releasing NFT images and shit.
Yeah.
Man, if there's blockchain stuff in 16, that's
Let's see if I can find it real quick.
or if they
Cool.
put it in 7 Remake 2, it just misses the whole point of the story.
yeah. Maybe they can do like they did in near Automata, and then just have one of the secret bosses be Matsuda-san. And then you just have to beat him up as Cloud, and he hands over his crypto wallet.
Hmm.
It's so crazy. I feel like Square Enix keeps getting lessons about what not to do, and they just keep not following that. And I'm sure that that's also part of why Matsuda has voluntarily decided to step down as his role in CEO, just because it has not been where it should be. But there's
Japanese
just been
business culture is also just very different from American as well. To bear in mind that there's a lot more to it when it comes to reputation over there.
Well, I
So,
thought, wasn't there some rumblings that other higher ups at Square were unhappy with him not going more aggressive, like you were saying, more aggressively
Yeah.
down the path. So
Yeah.
it's not that because so many people are like, "Oh, he's stepping down because they're tired of his dumb blockchain NFT bullshit." It's like, no, they want more of that actually.
Yeah.
I think it was actually
seems-
the board
Yeah.
that made those comments.
That's what I was saying. I think it was something like that. So it's like, whew, things are gonna get real weird at Square here.
Mhm.
Somehow it's all Tomb Raider's fault still.
Tomb Raider and Guardians of the Galaxy. Those
Yeah, and Marvel's Avengers, it's all their fault.
But no, it's just it's unreal. I guess it comes down to like the whale thing that like blockchain
Yeah.
and getting people onto NFTs is just going to be the next jump for whales. That you know how can we more aggressively do IAP? And then that happened, and
Yeah.
then now they're looking at blockchain. It's like, well, it doesn't matter if we piss off 10 gamers who are going to spend $60 on our game
Yeah. As long as
if
you
we
hook a
can get
few.
one blockchain investment douche bro to drop
Yeah.
600 on a wholly unique keyblade for Cloud to wield.
Yeah.
On the
And
other hand, too, there was news that came out this week of a newer game development firm that was making a blockchain game. The staff has not been paid, and they cannot find the CEO. So
Is the implication here that most blockchain stuff is scams and
yes,
scammers in NFT?
100%.
Yeah,
that's
that's about
also
right.
like, at this point, have we seen anything like we've had a lot of
No.
talk of
Yeah,
major
everybody's like, "Oh,
companies
there's this
doing,
big thing that's coming."
Yeah.
It just
yeah, like
Other than
it's only been,
cryptocurrencies, there's been nothing really to use the blockchain in any
yeah. And
meaningful
even
way.
cryptocurrencies are one rug pull after another.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah, and I just feel like we keep hearing talk of like X big company will use blockchain, but we still haven't seen it.
It's probably a lot harder to figure out a way to use it effectively than people give it credit for.
Yeah,
So
well, it
that's
just
probably
doesn't
the
help
big
that
thing.
I mean, there's a lot of blockchains or cryptos that were developed specifically for like information transfer and some like scientific applications, but even those never really fully
Yeah.
panned out because they didn't get the adoption level they needed.
I
it's gonna be
imagine.
like torrents. How like torrents were
Uh,
originally invented as a great way to share important documents peer to peer, to be able to improve download speeds, take the strain off people's uploads back in the
yeah.
day.
Yep.
And now they have become, the like one of the more secure ways to share pirated information. Um,
Mhm.
I wonder if it feels like the natural fit or progression of where something like how a blockchain would be implemented into something is just whatever the next step of like CS:GO skins and stuff are and the other Valve stuff that they sell, right? Because that kind of feels close enough right now. I know
mhm.
it's not the same thing,
It's not
but
the same, but
it's in the same area, and someone's gonna look at that model and be like, how can we take that and add another layer to it? Um, I imagine that's where a lot of talks are happening because that's been successful in
yeah.
comparison to some other games. Because I was starting to think of like the Real Money Auction House, which isn't nearly the same thing, but kind of close to the same thing that Diablo 3
Mhm.
had. And I'm just thinking about that lately because Diablo 4 is around the corner, and like how that just was a fucking train wreck. Like
That was really
didn't
bad.
go well at all. If people remember it,
I mean,
With
as like an economy within a game or within a game series, it could work if done well.
Eh,
Because technically, if you think about how cryptocurrency and things like that are bought and sold, it's no different than some level of economy. So if you build it right with,
people just
say,
need
an
to go
auction
look at
house or
Eve
something like that,
Online and just study Eve.
yeah.
yeah,
Use that
pretty
as your
much,
basis.
Well, I mean, I guess that's where a lot of people see it fall apart is like, well, it would offer the same thing as this system that already exists.
Yeah,
Mhm.
So it's like kind of where's it's like saying, hey, what if I could give you like in-app purchases and like the real money house, but I added like Denovu on top of it. It feels
yeah,
like that. It's like
Yeah,
yeah.
you're already doing the thing. Why add the little bit of extra security to make it worse?
Yep.
Um, I could imagine, yeah, like I could imagine with like Call of Duty, you could
yeah,
probably get away with doing something to have certain emblems or achievements or gun skins and stuff and have that be something that does copy
carry over.
forward.
Yeah.
Um,
Probably.
but
I mean, that's
yeah, I
probably
mean
one of
that
the only franchises that has enough frequent releases that it would be possible too. Like if you
I
think
mean
about it, because for it to be worth any value, you would have to be churning people through multiple games in order to transfer that from one to the next and
Yeah.
even drive value in building that system.
I mean, like EA Sports, all of those franchises could probably do something with it as well. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take, you
FIFA
know,
cards.
yeah, or even like I'm gonna take my quarterback with his stats from the campaign mode 3 games ago, and he's minted or whatever, and I'll transfer him forward. And but even then, it just sounds like the Mass Effect 3 like save game transfer, and it's again like
Yeah.
if we already have a system for this,
Why
why?
build something new? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's the problem is everybody's trying to find something groundbreaking so that they can make more money, but money's the focus, not usability.
yeah.
And that's where it all falls apart. And yeah, capitalism. But as we go through what is going to be a terrifying week with Silicon Valley Bank, clearly capitalism is not the best way to go. So
I'm all for communism. Let's do it. Um, as part of this Q&A as well, it was talked about how, not only have they got games coming out into March 2024, but they have organized their pipeline specifically for a good spread of new releases in the following fiscal year. And Matsuda-san also admitted that reviews of Forspoken have been challenging. Um, However, the game has received positive feedback on action features, including parkour, that he says will lead to improvement of development capabilities for other games in the future.
Yeah. I hope they have the right takeaways from Forspoken, because I think it's one that's the reviews are a little way too harsh. I do not
Mhm.
think it deserves to be where it's at right now. I mean, it's not a perfect game. I got plenty of problems with it, but I hope the takeaway is not like, well, we can't have a woman be a protagonist again, or a black woman
Yeah.
be a protagonist again,
yeah,
or we can't try to do this modern stuff or this modern take on whatever again, or whatever it is, and really look at what screwed it up. Which part of it was the marketing of it
yeah,
that
the
fucked
marketing
it.
was rough.
So maybe look at little different writers that don't see a black character and like, they have troubles with the law, and it's like, oh boy, like let's not be stereotypical.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Well, we already know that the Forspoken studio has been glommed back into
Yeah, which weirdly everybody was
full
like,
thing.
oh, I thought it already was. Like
Yeah.
that was
Nope.
my reaction. Was like, oh, I guess it is. All right.
But yeah, I guess, we'll probably see some like really cool, really fantastically fleshed out parkour in a future Square Enix
Yeah,
game,
probably. It's
and
fun.
we'll never see a Forspoken 2.
Doubt it. Yeah.
I mean, movement is so critical in games too. Like, think
Mhm.
about how people still talk about Titanfall's movement at the
Yeah.
end of the day. Like,
Yeah.
I think that if Square can take what they've built with Forspoken from a parkour perspective and build a solid game that has the unique movement, that
But
goes a
with
long way.
Forspoken, it's almost like it feels like like a superhero game. It's movement. It's not like a natural. It's like, no, I'm like super fucking moving through this world. Like
Hmm.
quick. I'm sure there's something that could be done with that somewhere.
I was chatting with Joe, our news writer, in
Oh, he
Slack
wrote
this week.
that famous review that we published
Yeah. So
recently.
it's actually from that review, one of the things that came up was when he was initially playing it, there
Which
was no
review?
fast travel system
Well,
You're
for
talking about Bleak Faith for
yeah,
Satan.
I want to make sure
that's
that we
it.
said.
Which yeah, it is
Yeah.
it's a Souls like, even though the developer says it's not, that released on
So
Thursday.
yeah, so
Quack like duck, walk like duck.
in discussing like how good the momentum system of that was, and how this game didn't have anything quick travel when he had first started playing it. It seems like quick travel has been added as a day one patch to the game. But kind of we were talking about open world games and whether they do or do not have a fast travel system, or when you would or would not use the fast travel system. And for me, I was like, wow, I can't think of a single like large open world game that doesn't have some sort of fast travel. Like I've just been playing Mario
Yeah.
and Luigi Superstar Saga, and that has warp systems in it.
Yeah.
But what I kind of landed on was games with like really good or really fun traversal methods. I will normally not fast travel through, and I was thinking of like Spider-Man,
Yep.
or
I don't think I ever used the subway.
yeah, because you didn't want to.
Yeah. It's fun
And I
swinging.
think that, yeah, from what I heard from you guys, like you can move around the Forspoken world quickly because you are
Yeah.
so fast. But yeah, that just sounds like a great opportunity to like
Yeah.
really have fun traversal.
Oh, with
Nolan's gonna
Forspoken, though,
hate this.
you would
but-
definitely use. Shut up! I don't want to talk about Elix, but with Forspoken, one thing that is a problem is that you would want to use fast travel because the world's too fucking big. That's one of the big complaints.
Okay.
It's too big. Like it's like they had a conversation like, oh, because we can move so quick, we need to make the world bigger. And it's like, ugh. Now it still kind of takes the same amount of time to get somewhere, but it's just fucking huge.
It's empty. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Sonic Frontiers had a little bit of that as well. There's just very sparse world. You could fast travel, but like you're Sonic, you want to be running around.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, it was just intriguing to be like, when do you and do you not use fast travel points in game, or what's a game that you've just like never used fast travel points? One of the ones that I thought of as well was like the Forza Horizon games. Like you can shortcut to races, but with so much that can just happen in the world and just be driving around, like it's more fun to just go.
You're incentivized to explore at the end of the day.
Yeah, I like it. Certain games have interesting open worlds too. That maybe the movement isn't necessarily other. It's pretty standard. Let's say a lot of times I'll just run around because I just want to chill. Like I look at shit.
Yep.
From point A to point B, I'll just check shit out. Like I did that a lot in Red Dead 2. Like I was like, hey, you know what? I'll just hang out, just chill, just run over to there, ride my horse over. Not, I mean, maybe not towards the end because it's just like, all right, I've been playing this for 100 something hours. But for most of the game, yeah.
Old and weary. So that's kind of it for the news. Otton, it looks like you want to talk about your favorite passion.
Yes, the game that I made famous. That's popular because I discovered it. I finally played it. I downloaded it.
How'd that go?
What is the game?
Told you. Fortnite.
Right.
I
Our number one
downloaded it.
Fortnite fan here to tell us about it.
I downloaded it and then I opened it and I was overwhelmed immediately by so much. Like I went to go, I was like, all right, I know I got to play a solo run or whatever you call it, match. And I went to go look at the game modes and it just kept going. Like I was scrolling and I was like, what the fuck? And it just kept like, I probably scrolled for like 30 seconds straight before I got to the end of it. There was probably 50 modes. And then I opened something, I don't remember what they're called. And then I just found a bunch of custom game modes and game maps that were made. I was like, what the? I did not realize Fortnite had all that stuff in it. Like custom, like a bunch of games people have just made, modded.
Oh, yeah.
And the page on that also was just fucking endless. There was so many. I was so like, what the fuck did I just download?
It is the new generation's Gary's mod.
Kind of feels like that.
Yeah.
It felt like the Roblox's older brother.
Probably because it is.
Yeah. Gave that vibe a lot. But I got into a match queued up. And I was Ezio from Assassin's Creed. I don't know why I had that, but I wasn't going to go in as the normal skin. I do not know why I have Ezio. It's probably because I own some fucking Assassin's Creed game and it gave it to me. But
blockchain.
Yeah, I went into the world and the map is very big. I didn't see anybody for a while. I was like, oh, I just don't know the hotspots, I guess, to go drop in at. I don't know, it was all right. I mean, I shot stuff. There was a bunch of items that I'm like, I do not know what this does. I have no fucking clue what's going on. Why did this wolf just run up to me and bite me? Where the fuck did that come from? I don't know. I had to kill a wolf.
There's wolves now?
There's a wolf I had to kill. There was some robot lady walking around that was a very, very shitty AI that I had to kill that then gave me a key to open a treasure chest that gave me actually a pretty fucking sweet weapon. But there's just so much weird shit. There's some I didn't talk to her because I was like, my goal is to win. I don't want to get bogged down in this other stuff. But there's just a lady walking around in like this store that's like, yeah, join Team Red or whatever. And it's like, I don't know what that means. So I'm leaving. But there's just so much shit going on in there everywhere. Riding car like vehicles, so many things that are just it doesn't give you any notes. I just went in. Maybe there's probably some tutorial somewhere that I just didn't do. Or whatever.
Can't imagine how long the tutorial would be now.
It's very different
right?
from
It used to be
anything
like-
I remember of.
Yeah.
Drop in, shoot, and build. And
Yeah.
now
I
it's
didn't do
like
the building. I was like,
everything-
I already know I don't like that. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I didn't do
You
that.
did no build.
No build.
Wait, you could have done the no build mode.
That's what I did.
Oh, right.
I did the no build mode. Yeah, I
Pretty much the
deliberately. Yeah, I
default
knew
mode
that.
now, I think.
I'm an expert in the field. Okay, I know there's a no build mode. All
You're
right.
looking forward to their first person shooter update?
Now would be a real shooter game. So that's what I'll say. But I also I want it to be known that I have a 100% victory royale rate.
Nice.
So you
Undefeated.
won
And
that
retire
first
now.
match.
I did. And
Do
I
they
will
still-
maintain that rate for perpetuity.
They
When
still
you're a
start
brand
you
new-
with bots.
I was gonna say
have no idea.
when you're a brand new player, do they still start you with bots? Because I know that
No
I know that
idea.
some have done that.
But that doesn't take away my victory. I still achieved victory.
Well,
You
I hope that
uninstall
you
afterwards.
I don't know. Let me look.
I hope that you celebrated with a well-deserved KFC bucket that gave you access to
I did
Diablo
not.
4.
I posted it in our Slack as people were cheering me on before I started, but then they started arguing about some nerd shit, and nobody talked to me about Fortnite when I posted it, and I was sad.
Man, who would have guessed that the Slack filled with game writers would be chatting
I
about
can't
nerd
remember.
shit?
I can't even remember what it was, but it's a bunch of nerd shit.
That happens.
I
far
want
too
to talk about Fortnite, which is what the cool people do, the cool kids.
Well, what else do you want to talk about with Fortnite? You have my undivided attention. Tell
That's all I
me all
have.
the Fortnite news.
That's all.
You excited
Oh,
for
the
Aaron
news?
Yeager?
Yeah, the Attack on Titan guy, the guy that yells "bastard" a lot, is coming.
I saw
and
something
there's
really
some
cool.
Japanese stuff. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Other
So
stuff.
for this new update, they're putting in all of these like very like neon bright light
Yeah.
anime inspired outfits and stuff, and then you've just got Eren Yeager from Attack on Titan there.
Yeah.
I had a friend immediately look at that and say, I bet they were trying to do a cyberpunk crossover with the cyberpunk anime, and they just
It
couldn't
didn't
get the
happen.
character. So there was like Eren Yeager.
I find
'Cause-
it hard to believe they couldn't get the character.
The-
They just
the
put
rest of
Geralt
those-
in the game. Geralt's
Yeah.
in it.
That's true.
Geralt's got a fucking gun. How do I get Geralt? Maybe I'll play again to be Geralt. I want Geralt to kill John Wick. That'd be a
This
good
is-
movie.
this is
Let's make
truly-
Ready Player One, but actually good this time.
I was going to
Pretty
say, this
good
is
book.
truly just Ready Player One.
It really is.
I would not be surprised if like just lobby areas began opening up to just let you be
The closest
there.
we have to the metaverse is Fortnite. That's the closest thing.
It's true.
It used to be VR chat, and then they
Yeah.
banned all of the mod support, which is
Ooh.
wild.
It's like Tumblr getting rid of porn, you fucking idiots.
So
That was what
dumb.
made VR chat
Yeah.
incredible. Was all the mods. Was just
Yeah. Well,
absolute
some-
chaos.
Tumblr's bringing porn back in case people haven't heard the news.
Hell yeah, they'll be
I
able
bet
to
they already
reclaim.
killed their entire platform.
Yeah,
Very good. There's a great bit, or great the college humor has the CEOs of the company that Brennan does. He does it as
So
Tumblr.
fucking
The Tumblr one's pretty good.
And what percentage of our fan base is porn? 99? Oh,
Yeah,
that's a fantastic video.
all of them are. All the CEO ones they did.
True, very true.
That one
Hey,
I
people should
might
go
do.
and subscribe to Dropout because
I'll
it's
plug Dropout. Dropout's good
Yeah.
shit.
it's fucking great.
Game Changer is an all timer in terms of shows.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good.
Rut, that's your homework for this week. Watch
should.
some Game Changer.
I can get on board
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
It's I would be so jealous to start that over knowing nothing about it. It's so good.
All right. So we've got our Fortnite weekly update out of the way. Rut, what have you been up to this week?
There was an open beta that dropped yesterday for Deceive Inc. Which is it's a multiplayer spy game. I've only played a couple matches so far, but basically the premise is you are a spy, whether you're in solos or like trios.
Mhm.
Oh, this
And
is
to
just
start,
Deathloop.
it's a little collaborative. In terms of you need to like in each match you need to unlock 3 terminals, at which point you can go to the vault and steal whatever's on that specific map. And then you have to extract. So it's basically like the investigative, then the infiltration, then extraction. So there's 3 phases. Um, the um, you drop in, you have a cover as like just like a civilian random person wandering around. There are different types of doors that you have to unlock, but you cannot go through said door without a disguise. So you can disguise yourself as a guard or a technician to kind of blend in. Um, and there's 4 teams, at least on trios, that are on the map, and you kind of are always watching to be like, okay, is that person doing something weird? Um, and the
So is
2
it
ways
that convincing that you can't tell?
it's kind of hard to tell because the AI is weird too. So like the AI will
Okay.
just randomly stop and then turn and go. So like part of it is you kind of have to mimic the weirdness of the AI to not get seen.
That's
And
always the
sometimes
problem
people are
with these
just
games
sprinting.
is when
Uh,
it's a player character stands out so much
yeah.
because it's just the way they move around and do
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Because you look the same as a lot of the things around you, unless you're like a
Yeah.
guard in a technician area, which is like, okay, yeah, you don't belong here.
Mhm.
But the 2 ways to win are primarily A, get through it, extract with the item, or B, kill the other teams. And so far,
Wow.
we've had wins for both. Um, and you start with 3 different agents. There's a total of like 8 or 9, I think, each with different abilities or weapons. Um, and yeah, it's really interesting. I'm still not sure how I feel about it. In terms of the fact that you can win by killing the other teams kind of makes the core gameplay loop useless.
Mhm.
Is it
When I
hard to
can
kill
just
other
go
teams?
not too hard. You've obviously got to be decent at shooting. And you can revive a teammate twice.
Mm.
And then if they go down again, they're done.
So does like the
Um,
other people around you react if you were to kill? Like, does it fuck up your run? Like, is it like Hitman where it's like it fucks you over if you're trying to
yeah,
do stuff you
if you
shouldn't?
shoot, you lose your cover and you have to regenerate
Yeah.
it. So it will give you away. And there's you carry like a deck of sorts. It's like mods that you can find in the world by gathering intel and opening safes that make
Mhm.
things like faster cover regeneration, faster hacking, and stuff like that. So you can kind of build your agent around how you kind of want to play too. Um, but yeah, I mean,
Interesting.
it's sometimes you're just like, I don't know if you're a person or not, and you shoot them, and it's just like an AI, and you're like, well, fuck, now people know I'm here. Um,
Huh.
but it is kind of neat. I really like the premise of kind of trying to be sneaky. It's Hitman multiplayer basically.
I'm sure
Mhm.
you do. You sneaky law breaking son of a bitch.
Goddamn right.
It does, like,
Um,
with the hiding and the disguising and the mimicking, it
mhm.
does remind me a bit of the Gary's Mod Guess Who game,
Prop
Yeah.
hunt.
which is
Yeah,
which is always fun.
yeah. Yeah, because you can like once you level up your agent enough, which is like 2 or 3 games, basically, you get the ability to like scan furniture. So you can like scan a trash can and just
Oh.
be chilling in the corner.
Oh, no, I was
Um,
even just talking Guess Who, which is a different Gmod game that there's a whole bunch of NPCs walking around the map, and then
oh,
one team gets to pretend to be NPCs, and then the other ones are hunters that have to, like, shoot them down.
Yeah.
yeah,
But yeah, the fact that you can also turn into props, that's always fun.
yeah. And there's other stuff I haven't unlocked everything yet to play around with, but um, the shooting's solid for the most part. The matches take maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Um, and it is fun, as long as you don't get just kind of a boneheaded teammate that's like, I'm just gonna run around and kill everything.
Mm.
It's way more fun to kind of sneak around, see a team run by you, and then just shoot them in the back. So
Yeah, I would hope that with the shooting they would make it a like it's got to be a very strategic decision to do it. Like it's got to be a big penalty associated
yeah,
with it.
because like so the character I usually play has a sniper rifle, so I can two shot people, um, but the reload between is pretty long, so I've got to like hit both shots. And then there's one dude that's got like a silenced pistol. There's someone who has like an SMG, somebody who has a crossbow. Everybody's got different weapons, and it looks like you can level up the agents and get different versions of the weapons. So there's like a
Mm.
single shot sniper rifle, and stuff like that, as well as different abilities. Like the one thing I really like is that you can hit Q and look around you, and like, okay, I want to go to this point on the map, and it'll actually give you like a marker on the ground that guides you to get there. Which is like if you're trying to figure out how to get to something that's, on the other side of the map and up a couple floors, it is kind of nice to be like, okay, if I
Kinda
follow
helps
this
you lower
road.
the barrier of entry to a new map
Yeah.
or a new zone kinda thing.
Correct. Yeah, and then you can mark like
Mm.
places to recover health, to get ammo, all that kind of stuff, which is super nice. But it is unique. It's got an open beta through the end of the weekend. I think they're planning to release this year, so probably
I was
summer,
looking
fall.
at the oh, is it coming to like early access first?
I
So I'm
think
looking at the
so.
Steam page. It comes out March 21st.
Oh, it actually comes out March 21st. Okay, I
Well, it
didn't see that,
says
but
I don't know if that means early access or it releases, but it
probably early access, I would guess, if it says that on there.
doesn't say early access. It just says coming March 21st.
Oh, then it's gonna be full release on the 21st. This is the last
Mm.
open beta. They've had a couple over the years, but it's all been kind of closed alpha beta stuff.
Well, there you
Um,
go.
So I guess,
it
Multiplayer
is
Hitman.
for previewing the game a week before release with no NDA, what do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, I think after playing a little bit more, I think I'm gonna play this afternoon, and getting a better feel for the gameplay loop. Like so far, I enjoy it. The art style is very, kind of, I don't want to say simplistic, but it's like it is a good to look at as you're kind of playing this type of game. It's not overly detailed, which kind of lends to the ability of trying to blend in. The AI sometimes does weird stuff, so you'll be like, "Oh, that's definitely a person," and no, it's just an AI stuck in a corner.
Just, yeah,
Um,
doing something
so
weird.
even the bugs kind of add a little bit of suspense, I guess, to it. But I can see myself adding it to the kind of rotation, um,
When you're
provided
not
there's not
complaining
any.
about Hunt Showdown, you'll get to complain about Deceive Inc.
Dude, Hunt's getting a big update. So the developers are making solid moves with the exception of one. So we'll see how I feel about that when it drops.
Well, you can't just say that and not tell us what the one issue
Yeah,
is.
so they did an event uh through, I don't know, I just a 3 month event. Their events are 3 months now. And through that event, as you got kills or collected clues, you'd get points that you could use to pledge to a faction. And like one faction was like you take less fire damage, one faction was uh I don't remember. And the other faction was you could get a mark to where if you died, you kept your character. Um, or if you were solo, you could, and you had the necromancer trait, I think you could revive yourself. And so the thing I don't like about the solo reviving itself is that when you're in a group of duos or trios, it's hard to tell who's a solo. And so it basically forces you to bring concertina wire or poison, and basically anytime you kill somebody, throw that on top of them to ensure that you're not getting yeeted after the fact. Um, and so then bringing that in as a core gameplay loop now is like, if you're a solo, you can revive yourself literally 4 times. It's kind of shitty. Um, and it incentivizes solo play and shitty solo play, like sniping in a bush, because they'll kill you. You just wait, 15 seconds, and as they move on, you just revive
And you
yourself and you're
hop
back
up
in.
and run away. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
weird. That's very weird.
Yeah. So it's like everything else they're planning in terms of like some of the gun changes. They're making like some really solid optimizations to complaints I've had for a while. But then they drop this in, and it's like, well, that was the one thing about the event I hated the most,
Mhm.
was having to second guess every single kill. And when you're fighting with another team, you don't want a solo to stand up behind you and shoot you. Like that's
Yeah.
It's like dead ringers and fucking TF2. Like the TF2 people know what I'm talking about.
I was not a
Fucking
TF2 person. So
fucking dead ringing spies. They had
yeah.
a thing that they like would die instantly, look like they're dead, and they turn invisible so they could run away. So you thought, oh, I
Oh
killed the
yeah.
spy, and then they're like fucking dead, stabbed you in the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating, and it's, they've made a lot of updates, like they're rolling out a tutorial, which is, I think, good for drawing in new players, because previously it was just like play a match and you got to fucking figure it out as you go.
Mhm.
But yeah, this decision is very strange, and I would be curious what data they saw to be like, this is a good idea, other than solos using it.
I wonder if they just saw like an increase in solo play, and whether that's just probably a lobby that is less filled.
Well, and the frustrating thing is there is no solo lobby. So if you're a
Okay,
solo, you literally have to choose to go into a duo or a trios alone.
Huh.
interesting.
Yeah. So like on any match, so if you're in duos, there are 6 total teams on the match. So duos and solos, and you never know if somebody's a solo or a duo. There's no way to tell, outside of hearing 2 players running around, because like noise and ambiance is like the core gameplay loop. Like, don't make noise or people will know that you're
Mhm.
there. Um, so you never know if somebody's a solo, and it forces you to have to play a certain way, to make sure you don't get shot in the back, which really sucks.
That's weird. And I bet that they've done the math on that as well, that like creating a solo category would split a lobby too much to like the
Well,
point that you don't want
and
a lobby
also
to
like
seem dead.
you get extra rewards for going in solo, so it incentivizes
Ah,
solo play even more. Yeah.
oh, okay. Then
Hmm.
yeah, it just that sounds like broken on broken on broken, kind of like patchwork fixes.
Yeah, it's kind of hunt showdown, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or 1 step forward, 2 step backs, depending on the update. And it is still one of the best shooters, like from a mechanic standpoint. The guns are all very solid. There's strategy. There has to be strategy to pretty much everything you do. Um, but yeah, throwing in a curveball like this is really frustrating.
Mhm. Excellent. Well, my game of the week was the hour-long Resident Evil 4 chainsaw demo, and
Nice.
boy, do I miss it when horror movies did not, or horror games did not look this nice, because that's a scary demo. I was not a fan.
Mm.
Starts off at what seems to be the beginning of the game, that you're just like going through a, it starts very linear and then you end up in like a larger village section. It's got all of the trademarks of
Thought that
new
was 8.
Resident Evil. It's all. I mean, 8 was such a like a love song to 4. It kind of made sense that they just remade 4 directly after it. Um, but they've got all the staples that you want of new Resident Evil. Old men in grizzled clothes with dried blood everywhere, cooking something gross in a pot may or may not be human.
Sweet.
Yep. And then it's just a whole bunch of people popping out at you and trying to kill you. It was fun. It was scary. I did not like the titular chainsaw guy. He was an asshole. I never felt like I had enough ammo. It's just not for me.
This is a good time to announce that
Yeah.
our
Yeah,
plan.
no, I mean we've been talking about doing like all of us playing Resident
One
Evil
game.
4 to have a kind of book club that we can record and chat with people. I'm on the fence if this is the one that I want to participate in.
Come on, you gotta.
It's just
It'll just be talking shit about you the whole time when we do it.
I
I'm
mean,
sure you can
yeah.
live with that, but
I'm very
come
used to that.
on. Fall into the peer pressure. Get pressured.
Okay. I mean, I did that like on podcast once before with Elden Ring, so I guess I might as well.
Got pressured into playing Elden Ring?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
How long did you play it?
Longer than me.
5 or 6 hours?
Okay. Well, you realize the idea with the Resident Evil thing is that we're playing the whole thing.
Oh yeah, no, I know. I know. I keep hearing stuff about a mech, and that
I keep hearing that
intrigues me.
too. So we're the two that haven't played it, right?
I believe so. Rut, have you?
I haven't played it.
Oh, okay, no, you haven't. Okay.
So is
So
it just
Scrappy's the
Scrappy?
only one that's
Scrappy is
played.
the Resident Evil 4 veteran.
Huh. I know very little about it, but I'm interested. Everybody says this is the best one.
I don't know. I've played 6, and that's pretty hard to top.
So I'll be curious to see how it turns out.
Yeah,
Visually,
well,
I know
I
it's
mean,
going to look amazing because what they've done with the latest games is crazy.
I'll say I was playing on PC. It looked okay. I might have not had my settings tweaked right, or
Yeah.
I don't know, my drivers might be 2 versions back that was causing issues. There was a lot of weird funkiness going on with textures and stuff.
Mm. I'd hope for the release that I don't remember hearing anything about their like PC versions being problematic in the past that I recall. So hopefully that won't be the case. That would suck if it was for this one.
Yeah.
Of all.
Well, we'll figure it out. But yeah, like the demo was cool. It was dark. It was gritty. I kind of got a sense for what was going on. Chainsaw Man was terrifying. I guess it hits everything that you would want to see from a new Resident Evil game.
Yeah. This is the one where you're going to say the president's daughter, right?
Yep. Yeah, you are Leon.
Yes, I know Leon.
15 years after the events of 2.
Yeah.
And you are sent to this small village where, for some reason, the president's daughter was kidnapped.
Don't ask
and
questions.
Taken to. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't ask
questions. Yeah. And then you got to save her.
That's good. That's some of the era that Resident Evil 4 was made. That is that era plot line. That was a very common thing.
Yep.
Got to save the president or insert important person's child here. Mostly daughters.
I love Metal Wolf Chaos.
I was thinking of even like movies like, I remember Rush Hour? That's what Rush Hour was.
Yeah. Oh, Rush Hour is great.
Rush Hour is great.
We need a 4th.
I'd watch it. Yeah.
I keep saying that I want to have Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker do Face Off, because I think that would be hysterical.
I mean, the first original Face Off is kind of already ridiculous now.
Oh yeah, no, it would be ludicrous.
How about Jackie Chan as Splinter?
Oh yeah, in the movies,
and the new TMNT that's coming out.
Is he going to be the person who voices? No, sorry, that's Shredder, because Shredder is coming to Call of Duty.
Yeah,
for reasons.
Whatever. Call of Duty's like, we can be weird too and have stuff in it like Fortnite.
It's just the steps we went from like having licensed video games, like a movie would come out, you would be able to play the video game of that movie. Now it's just licensed crossovers, licensed tie-ins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Consumerism.
Woo.
Well, on that happy note, we will go ahead and wrap up this episode of the TechRaptor podcast. As always, if you're interested in checking out some of the stories we spoke about or staying up to date on the latest in games, news, reviews, features, tabletop guides, be sure to hit up techraptor.net. Aside from that, we will be back here same time next week, and we'll see you then.
All right.